Hey guys, Catherine here, coming back today to show you a different way of making a traveler's notebook cover this time from fabric. I got this fabric at Target, and you might say, well, Target doesn't sell fabric, and that's right, they don't, but they do sell, and I'm going back to the same thing that I did before. They do sell placemats, and this is a placemat that I picked up on clearance. It was actually twice as big as this, but I cut it off and I tucked the end in and I sewed it closed by hand, which was an adventure because my sewing machine is on the fritz and I hate sewing by hand. But that's done, and it's behind me now. And I have got this ready to go and ready to string for a traveler's notebook. And this in and of itself is too wide, even for the traveler's notebook size that I like to use. It should actually be about this wide if it were the correct size. So this is a little wider than I really want it to be, but I'm leaving it this wide because I want it to have a flap that folds over. And that'll make it look a little bit neater, I think, and the elastic, when it wraps around, will hold that flap down, so I don't think it'll cause any problems for it. For this one, I'm going to string it a bit differently. I've got this folded to the place that I want, and I've pressed it down really well to create a crease and sort of find my middle. And then I'm going to go ahead and mark that just down from the top and up from the bottom, and a guess at the middle. And that's all I'm going to do as far as marking goes. I'm not being too precise about it, and I'm not going to be using my hole punch. That hole punch isn't great for fabric anyway. What I am going to do is sew my elastic in, and I've decided to go with this orange elastic because I feel like it's going to fit the overall tone. Even though it doesn't match any of the colors in this specifically, it's going to fit the overall color, so I think it'll work out well. So the first thing I'm going to do is thread my elastic on this needle, and I am using a tatting needle because it's what I've got that has an eye big enough that the elastic can fit through, if I can get it to go. I may have to use a pin or something to get it started and push it through. Go. Come on, you. Actually, I think I will. I will find a pin. If I stop trying to just do it on my own for 2 seconds. Okay, yes. Find a pin. Go. Pin box. Pin. Go, and then line it up with the hole on my tatting needle. If I can hold it still long enough. And keep it from twirling around in my hand. And take the pin and press it in if I can get it to go. Maybe, perhaps. I just try sticking the pin into the elastic and seeing if I can't press it through. Yep, see, nope, that's not going to work. You know what I will do? Rather than use a pin, I'll put that away. I've got a tiny little bobbin of thread here. I'm going to pull off some of that thread and take and fold it in half and run it through the eye of the tatting needle, because I know for a fact that I can get that through there. There we go. And then run the elastic through the thread, and then pull it through the tatting needle. There we go. That's a faster and easier way to do it. And then I don't cut the length of my elastic off of my card before I sew it through. And the reason why I don't do that is because I don't know how much I'm going to need until I'm done. So I'll take and... Oh, that's not going to go through. Nope. Ah, there we go. Oh, but that's crooked. Oh, here we go. Bit of cardboard. A little bit of cardboard can go a long way sometimes. There we go. And that's much straighter. Perfect. And then pull it through and flip it over and go right next to it, like a quarter of an inch away or so, and press it through. Oop. I said through, I say. And flip it over. And then down to the other end. And I'm going to need to let myself out a little bit more length on this elastic. Just make sure that I don't pull it off my needle. And then do the same distance away from the center. So, there-ish. Went through a bit of embroidery that time. And then flip it over and go back through center-ish mark, which I can't see from this side, so I'm just guessing. Go. But if you haven't figured it out by now, most of the things I do are just guessing. Oh, that's entirely wrong. Well, let's see if we can't pull it back through and try again. There we go. That's closer to where I want it to be. And then this one is going to want to go up to the top, and I'm going to have to let myself out some more elastic. There we are. And now there should be already a hole punched in the top there, so it should be easier to go through this time. Hopefully, maybe, kind of. Hopefully, maybe, kind of. Alright, found it on this side. There we go. That's what we like to see. That's what we want it to be. And then pull that so that it's not so tight, because I do want these to be a little bit loose. Oh, sorry, hit you guys there. And then that's through the back, so we need to flip it over and do the same-ish distance from that side on this one, and press it down through and lift it up if we can. Oh, and that's in the wrong place again, but we're starting from a better place, because the inside of this is easier to punch through than the outside is. So if we've got a hole where we want on the outside, it'll make everything easier. All right, and then one more down here at the bottom. Pull that a little looser. At the bottom, about the same distance away from the center. Go and punch it through if we can. There we go. Ooh, that's entirely off. Yeah. There we go. That's the spot we want it to be. And pull it through. And not too tight, but not too loose either. And then back through the center hole at the bottom. And that gives us more than enough length. So actually I'm going to back it out. But I can pull it off of this needle. There we go. So what I'm going to do is back this out a bit because it's too long. Want it about there, halfway-ish. And pull this back through until it's just the right looseness. And you get a feel for it after a while, after stringing a couple of them. You get a feel for how tight you want them to be. You really don't want them to be too tight, because once you've got the books in there pulling on them, they are going to pull on the cover. And with stiffer covers, that isn't as noticeable. But with the fabric ones like this, if your ends are tucking in, you will definitely notice. You don't want that. It's not a good look. There we go. And then just tighten this down, but not too tight, but not too loose. There-ish. There we go. That's what I want. And then tie this off. And actually, I do want to clip it before I tie it because I want the knot to be straight. I don't know if you know what I mean by that, but I mean like the ends together. Kind of a knot. Go, so flip it around and back and through and tighten it towards itself, and there we have it. All right, the spine is strung, and just trim the excess and toss the ends away because we don't need them, and then restring our tatting needle because we've still got to do the center. So this, now that we figured it out, should be easier. We grab our thread again, put the thread through the eye of the tatting needle, and then put the elastic through, well, if you don't pull your thread all the way through the tatting needle, there we go, then put the elastic through the loop of the thread, and then pull the elastic through the needle. There we go. And then, let's see, check to make sure you've got your cardboard underneath. And see if you can't drive it just straight down through. Maybe, hopefully, kind of. Go. That's as straight as I can make it. And pull it through. And then you want to give it about just less than twice as much length as the book. So just out to the edge and back. And only just, because it is going to tighten. You want the elastic to hold it closed. Go, so you can always tie it shorter, but it's really hard to add length once you've cut it. So pull the tatting needle off, take and cut that there. And now you'll notice I didn't add a charm or a button this time. That's because I am going to start using these lobster clasps to connect the charms on in the future. It makes them more easily changed out, and it means that I don't have to put them on to start with, which should help just make my overall life easier. Go, and then I'm going to line up these ends and pull that back tight. See if I can't figure out which one is the long one. Nope, that's the short one. There's the long one. There we go. So now I have an equal length of elastic to work with, and then I'm just going to tie it off loosely, and then I'm just going to grab a stack of inserts. Oh, that's not pulled tightly in the center there. There we go. I'm just going to grab a stack of inserts to simulate about the width of the eventual notebook and fold that over and test it for length. And that is actually even a little bit too loose. I think I want it to be tighter. That's okay. That's what we're testing it for. All right, so set those back aside again. And take this and pull it up a little bit further. And tighten it down just a little bit more. And then test it again. So grab our stack back, set it on, close it up, and that's all right. I do want it to be a little bit tighter still. And this is the tricky part. More than anything else, it's getting the band that goes around it to the right length, because too tight and you just won't be able to work with it, too loose and it won't hold anything together. Go. All right. So just inch it up, back and forth, closer until you get to the point that you like it. There we go. There. That's perfect. It's got room to expand if I want to put more in. This is about 3 inserts. And I usually do run with a folder too, but I haven't got the folder in here. So that's the right tension. Awesome. So I will tighten that knot and clip it off. And there you go. A fabric cover for a traveler's notebook made out of a placemat. And you can do this with any style placemat. This one happens to be embroidered, which I like, but I've got other ones too that I might make these covers out of. I do kind of like the way that folds over. I'm not opposed to that, actually. I wasn't sure how I would feel about it when I started out, but I'm kind of digging it. Tell me what you guys think. I'd be happy to know your opinion. And see you all later. Bye.